The MotoGP paddock is buzzing with two massive commercial and technical developments that are set to redefine both the immediate landscape and the long-term future of the Premier class. As the grid prepares for a major regulatory overhaul, discussions are underway to fundamentally alter the structure of a race weekend, while an active powerhouse team has just secured a game-changing mid-season partnership. The Premier class is seriously evaluating a dramatic shift in its sporting regulations that would limit each rider to just a single active motorcycle per race weekend starting in 2027. This proposal is a core element of the ongoing high-stakes negotiations between the championship promoter, manufacturers, and teams, which will establish the framework governing relationships from 2027 through 2031. Driven directly by the manufacturers, the primary objective of this initiative is aggressive cost reduction. While the exact financial savings remain difficult to quantify in absolute terms, teams expect the restriction to immediately lower expenses by allowing them to downsize the number of specialized technicians required within each garage structure. To become official, this rule must pass a formal voting procedure and receive a green light from the Grand Prix Commission. If implemented, the change would bring MotoGP in line with Moto2 and Moto3, where competitors have operated with only one bike since 2010. However, the exact operational blueprint would most likely mirror the protocol utilized in World Superbikes. In that paddock, riders are officially restricted to a single machine, but a second uncertified backup bike is kept hidden in the team truck or the back of the garage. If an accident causes severe, irreparable damage to a critical component like the chassis, technical inspectors must evaluate the wreckage and formally authorize the deployment of the spare before it can hit the tarmac. A similar philosophy drove Formula One to completely ban spare cars, commonly known as T-cars, ahead of the 2008 season. The strategic and safety implications for MotoGP would be immense. For nearly 2 decades, teams have utilized two active bikes simultaneously to experiment with contrasting setup directions in a single practice session. Furthermore, the rule would completely revolutionize the chaotic flag-to-flag procedures introduced at Phillip Island in 2006. Currently, when rain hits, riders simply dive into the pit lane, hop off their dry bike, and mount an identical second machine, pre-configured with wet tires and tailored suspension settings in a transition that takes less than 3 seconds. Under a single bike rule, this seamless swap would disappear, fundamentally altering how variable weather races are managed.
In an immediate and unexpected shakeup to the commercial paddock, Monster Energy is set to become the official title sponsor of the factory Aprilia racing squad starting at next week's Italian Grand Prix at Mugello. The Noale factory has utterly dominated the opening phase of the 2026 season, capturing 4 victories in the first 6 rounds, courtesy of a spectacular 3-race opening streak by Marco Bezzecchi and a dominant triumph at Le Mans by Jorge Martin. Despite this on-track supremacy, Aprilia had remained the only elite factory team without a naming partner, a vacancy that this immediate agreement decisively resolves. While the initial contract runs until the conclusion of the 2026 season, both parties have already committed to extending the partnership well into the future. For Aprilia, the arrival of the American energy drink giant delivers an immediate cash injection and guarantees short and medium-term financial stability. The corporate marriage is a natural alignment of assets. Current championship leader Bezzecchi already maintains a lucrative personal contract with Monster, opening the door for massive immediate marketing activations. Looking ahead to 2027, Francesco Bagnaia is locked in to join Aprilia as Bezzecchi's teammate. Because Bagnaia is also a prominent personal Monster athlete, the long-term logic of the deal is bulletproof. Securing a major title sponsor mid-season is incredibly rare in modern motorsport, as corporate budgets are typically finalized well before the opening round. Paddock insiders view this swift maneuver as a proactive shift by Monster Energy, which is heavily rumored to be scaling back its title presence at Yamaha once their current contract expires at the end of this year. By pivoting, Monster consolidates its dominance at Aprilia and Ducati, even as Marc Marquez pauses his Red Bull association rather than joining the Monster roster. Conversely, this sudden commercial alignment places Jorge Martin in a highly delicate predicament. The Spaniard is a premier Red Bull representative, creating a direct conflict of interest with his team's new title benefactor. Martin, who shares a fiercely loyal relationship with the Austrian brand, is now exploring his options, while migrating his personal sponsorship over to Monster is on the table, making that switch mid-season appears highly complex and unlikely to happen overnight.